KHOU 11 News starts now.
Oh my God.
Texas-sized devastation.
This is something that goes beyond man.
Texans forced to get out fast.
I'm scared. I'm scared to death.
Wildfires that tonight are burning everything in sight and showing no signs of stopping.
We're losing everything.
And we begin with breaking news. We've been following these pictures for the last couple of hours. Our first live look from Air 11 in Grimes County. You can see there is quite a bit of burning going on in that county.
Yeah, flames just across the road from at least one home right there. New wildfires popping up over our area. Good evening. I'm Sherman Chow in for Greg Hurst.
And I'm Len Cannon.
Let's go back to those live pictures from Air 11 of a wildfire threatening homes in Grimes County, taken just moments ago from the air. Another live look now at the flames at treetop level. Now,
we understand this fire started late this afternoon in Montgomery County, then spread very quickly to Grimes County. Take a look at this weather bug camera right now. It'll give us another view of just how this fire progressed. You see this at around 1:30 in the afternoon, no smoke. Then as the hours pass, you see that smoke getting thicker and blacker on the right-hand side of the picture there.
At this hour, deputies are going door to door notifying dozens of families of a mandatory evacuation in Grimes County right now because of this fire.
The evacuations are centered, by the way, in the Lake Holly Hills subdivision that is south of Plantersville. Don't know how many homes we're talking about, but there you see the map, just south of Plantersville in Montgomery County. That's where the evacuations are taking place.
Grimes County Sheriff Don Saul is joining us now on the phone. And Sheriff, I know you've been kind enough to chat with us throughout the afternoon. We're continuing to look at live pictures from Air 11. Can you give us an idea of A, how bad those winds are and how folks are reacting to the mandatory evacuation?
The winds are pretty terrific right now. It's shifting it into the subdivision Lake Holly Hills I was telling you about. Second question, all the people have been very cooperative. I think we've got about 98% of the people out. I've got 2 or 3 holdouts, and I advise them they would be mandatorily removed if it became an object of their safety and ours. I've got about 3 homes that they're refusing to leave, but they're further back in there. So other than that, 98% have been very, very cooperative.
That's good news. Sheriff, we're looking at pictures of a lot of brush and trees on fire. Do you know if any structures, homes, businesses?
As far as Grimes County, it has not crossed. It's right at the county line on the western portion of Montgomery County. We got a lot of smoke out here, a lot of wind, but it has not hit the Grimes County portion of this subdivision. I understand just a moment ago it has crossed 1774, just south of our location in Montgomery County. They're having some evacuations out there in Waller County and parts of Montgomery County south of us, about 2 miles, a mile and a half, 2 miles. So we're containing our area right now. So far, we have the wind shifting, making it obvious we may have a problem here. It continues, but now they have a little more problem down south of us, I understand.
You were saying earlier it was like deja vu all over again, and of course we all remember the terrific fires you had back in June, and you look at that smoke and it really reminds you of those days.
It gives you a very good flashback of Father's Day back in June when the winds were just about the same momentum that we have today, and same type of tree terrain and danger for the homeowners here. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Sheriff Don Saul, thank you so much. I know you are a very busy man, and we will check back with you throughout the evening. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, incredible pictures with all the smoke and the flames in Grimes County. Let's go to KHOU 11 News reporter Alex Sands, who just got to the scene.
What are you seeing on the ground there, Alex?
Len, Sherman, as the sheriff said, the fire is not just crossing from road to road and burning acre after acre. Behind me, you can see how it is just towering over this part of Grimes County. This is Todd Mission, FM 1774, just south of 105, and just beyond me is a roadblock. It keeps getting closer to us because this fire continues to burn in our direction. And as you said, so many people are now out of their homes, being kept away from their homes because this fire, these winds, it is spreading it fast and it is spreading it furious. As you can see from these pictures, it is something to behold. We've had so many wildfires in this area the past several months, but this is by far the biggest any of us have seen. The one not far from here, as we heard a moment ago, it did some damage and things were difficult here for many, many days, but it is impressive to see just how big this is getting. Just in the past several hours, it continues to spread. The wind is driving it even higher into the atmosphere. certainly driving up from Houston, from the Woodlands, you can see how big this fire is. And right now, there is a sense that it could do a lot more damage as this day gets underway, as the evening rolls in, because it is spreading, it is moving fast. And the winds, as they're not as bad as they were just about an hour ago, but they are still here, and the wind continues to be a problem. In fact, just about an hour ago, we were at a command post. That command post had to move to the north. That second command post moved a third time because it was, again, being driven by the wind, the fire blowing close to the firefighters at the station they had set up there. So, as we've been watching all day, many residents nervously watching these images, anxious to get back to their homes. Not sure if once they get the all clear, they'll have homes to get back to. Sherman and Len.
Alex, Gina just telling us that the wind gusts clocked at about 25 miles an hour up there, and the aerials are just dramatic. Huge clouds of white smoke and just glowing flames in the background. From the distance, we don't see a lot of fire trucks working actively. Are you able to tell us whether they're able to get any water or anything at this point?
They're certainly trying. We've been watching all day, as all afternoon, we should say, as fire trucks have been making their way up and down 1774 to bring water in, try to get water from as many resources as possible. But in talking to homeowners here, even lakes in the area, backyard lakes even, in one case an lake that's more than 100 acres in size, that lake has dried out. So as far as using natural water resources in this area, it's just not here. And that is compounding the situation here. Should say that's something someone picked up on rather quickly. We're about 4 or 5 miles from the actual fire line. You look up in the sky, you get the occasional dusting of ash. It is in the air, and it is spreading this hour here in Grimes County.
Alex, I wonder if you've seen any planes in the air that they're trying to attack this fire from the air with water and planes. Any sign of that?
We've been keeping our eyes open for that all afternoon, Len. Have not seen it yet. We've seen maybe 1 or 2 airplanes in the area, but nothing of the sort that could bring in water, perhaps a helicopter for aerial drops, a larger aircraft that could support that kind of assistance at this hour. Have not seen that yet, but certainly Texas Forest Service is heading into this area, bringing in more resources to possibly help the local fire departments here. Several fire departments already at hand, both in Montgomery and Grimes County here, trying to get more resources to this fire. The early evacuation had about 60 homes evacuated. That is changing quickly as this fire spreads and more people are displaced here in Grimes County.
All right, Alex, thank you. As we continue to stay on these pictures, just stunning images there. And we were talking about air support that Alex was referring to, and we just learned from the Texas Forest Service there is no air support. They're working on that. But right now, given the winds and how fast things are changing, it could be a problem to get air support. So they're going to have to deal with this as best they can from the ground right now. Alex Sands, again, thank you. We'll check back with you later. A lot of you have been wondering about school closures. We have checked with Grimes and Montgomery counties. Both districts, we are told, have not made a decision yet, and you can tell from these pictures why.
Yeah, we will let you know when they do. Meanwhile, viewers have been sending us their photos of the fire on that Grimes-Montgomery County line. Reporter
Doug Miller has been looking through those pictures, and he's hearing more from law enforcement in the area. Doug?
Well, I'll tell you what, Lynn and Sherman, what we have here in Texas is quite simply a tinderbox. Our state is dry, and now, as you can see right there, much of it is in flames. Consider this. Over the weekend, more than 32,000 acres of Texas were swept up in wildfires, and that's before this latest wildfire that we're looking at right there in Montgomery County. Now, consider this number also. Since last December, wildfires have hit about 3.5 million acres of our state. Think about that. 3.5 million acres of Texas have gone up in flames like this since last December. That is an area about as big as the entire state of Connecticut. Earlier, we heard from Governor Perry. He flew over the Central Texas fire close to Bastrop today. He called that fire a monstrous storm.
It was a surreal experience today. Not only flying by that substantial, I mean, I have seen a number of big fires in my life. This one is as mean looking as I've ever seen, partly because it's so close to this city.
And by this city, he is talking about Bastrop. Again, he was talking about the fire around Bastrop that he looked at earlier today. He canceled his campaign swing, his presidential campaign swing today to get back to Texas to take charge of the effort to fight these fires. You know what's really bad about this, Sherman and Lynn, for the people who live in this area right there, you remember they lived through a similar fire back in June, another forest fire back then. The firefighters were out there for days. We were out there for many days. The firefighters employed some very aggressive tactics to put out that fire, but they also caught a break. They got very lucky. They got some rain, and of course we cannot count on that in this case. So we're going to keep looking at this fire, and I hope that folks continue to send us photographs at KHOU.com. We're posting all of those to our website. We're going to be on this all night long, on the air, but also online at KHOU.com, and we'll keep you posted on what's going on up there in Montgomery County. Sharon, Ben, and Len.
All right, thanks a lot, Doug. You're right. We were out there for days back in June, and we saw the airdrops with the helicopters, and the bulldozers came in from everywhere, cutting the huge fire breaks. All of that is stuff that they're going to have to do. At the moment, though, goodness gracious, if there were only some rain in the forecast, but that is not going to be the case.
Yeah, Gene Norman is here. Talk about the possibility of rain, Gene, and the winds. You can see from those pictures,
Oh, yeah.
My goodness, I mean, it's just whipping.
That's right, and you can see from our exclusive WeatherBug network of sensors a strong north winds that we've been dealing with today. Not as strong as yesterday, but strong enough. Up in Conroe, 11 miles an hour, College Station 14 with gusts to 25 miles an hour. Also, the smoke was visible, or is still visible really, on our HD Doppler. You see those blips of green and, or rather blue and yellow there where it says Todd Mission. That's where the fire is being picked up by the radar, at least the smoke from the fire. The radar beam crosses at around 10,000 feet, the arrows indicating the direction of the wind, so it continues to push that smoke from north to south down into northern sections of Harris County. And you have been mentioning all the people that have been able to see this. Now the big question is, when are the winds going to die down? Because the dry conditions are helping to fuel the problem with the winds. And take a look at the forecast. By morning, we're expecting the winds to drop down to about the 5 to 10 mile an hour range. That's good news. Tomorrow they'll pick up a little bit, but they won't nearly be as strong as they were today. As far as rain, that's not happening anytime soon. A front did move through during the day today, and that continues to dry the atmosphere out. I'll have more on our potential rain chances in the days to come and the rest of the forecast coming up.
Wow.
All right, and Gene, we just got word from the Texas Forest Service that it's at least 150 acres right now on fire up in that area.
Amazing.
All right.
Thank you, Gene.
And now to a wildfire we have been monitoring since yesterday.
Yeah, there's more. This is near Bastrop in central Texas. KHOU 11 News reporter Tiffany Craig. She's been there all day, where a lot of families are watching, waiting, and praying.
Oh yeah, there's a whole lot of praying going on here in Bastrop tonight. And if you look behind me, you can see why. Those are not clouds, those are smoke plumes. And we have watched them all day. They have been growing and moving. At every roadblock in Bastrop, we found heartache.
It's devastating. It's catastrophic.
Steve Conti was one of at least 5,000 evacuated by the wildfire spanning more than 16 miles.
Didn't look like it was going to get to our house, but then the wind changed direction and came through.
It's been a rough day for Jennifer Whitaker, too. She knows her house is gone, but can't find her horse.
We've been trying to get back in there to get her, and they won't let us back in.
The Bastrop fire is the largest burning in our bone-dry state. It's already scorched 25,000 acres and destroyed more than 470 homes. Fire crews are battling the blaze that's being fanned by strong winds and now has everyone's attention.
I'm not paying any attention to politics right now. There's plenty of time to take care of that. People's lives and their possessions are endangered. That's substantially more important.
At another roadblock, we met Monica Turner.
We are kind of at that point where we are praying for the best, but expecting the worst.
But there's no guessing for Brian Barron. He could see and hear the fire coming.
You hear the old people saying that a tornado, you can hear a freight train. Well, I heard the freight train.
And it's hard to imagine when you see those pictures, but fire officials out here believe this one is actually going to get worse. They say the conditions are the perfect storm because the humidity is low and the wind out here is gusting up to 30 miles an hour. Reporting live in Bastrop, Tiffany Craig, KHOU 11 News.
All right, Tiffany, thank you very much. And let's go back outside and show you live pictures from Air 11. These are evacuations that are going to be taking place in Grimes County. You can see why this wildfire started in Montgomery County, and because of the winds gusting up to 25 miles an hour, now spreading into Grimes County. We'll continue to watch this, and our coverage continues in just a moment.
Continuing our live coverage of those wildfires up in the Montgomery-Grimes County line, 150 acres being torched at this hour. Alex Sands is live on the ground now. And Alex, can you hear us?
I got you, Short Ben. Still watching this fire growing since we last saw you. The wind's picking up even more since we last saw you. In fact, that towering cloud, that plume of smoke behind me, it continues to grow even more here in Grimes County. Give you a sense of where things are as of last check, according to the Texas Forest Service. Some 150 acres on fire. The winds clocking 20-25 miles an hour, driving this fire fast through brush, through trees, approaching many neighborhoods here in Grimes County. One problem they're having is the air support, the aircraft that can dump water and possibly help contain this. Every aircraft Texas Forest Service has is in other parts of Texas handling those wildfires, taking care of that. So right now, several fire departments on the ground trucking water in, doing what they can, but until that aerial support comes in, it's going to be tough going. It's going to be a problem here for many hours to come. A lot of folks trying to get home this hour. They are here with the rest of us watching and hoping that when they do get back home, they have homes to get back to, Sherman and Atlanta.
Yeah, it is a disastrous end to the Memorial Day weekend. Alex, we know about 60 homes are being threatened so far. Any idea whether there are evacuation centers being set up at all?
As we saw during the last fire, just about 4 or 5 miles from here near Plattersville, that was what they were doing early on. We're waiting to hear of exactly that is happening here yet, but more than likely, not too far from here along State Highway 105, near one of the elementary schools or middle schools. We'll see that happening here. That could be possibly in the next few hours.
All right, Alex Sands, live out in Grimes County. Thank you very much, sir. And as he was mentioning, it was back in June where that area lost more than 5,000 acres to flames and several dozen structures, 1,800 homes and businesses evacuated back then. And one of the big issues back in June was the wind.
Exactly. And real quickly, we just learned that Magnolia High School on 1488 is one of the evacuation centers for folks in this Montgomery-Grimes County area. So that is a section, that is a place you can go to if you need to. And I'm sure if you're in harm's way, you want to find a place to go if you don't have relatives, someplace else to go. Magnolia High School on 1488. Gene's here now to talk quickly about the forecast. Certainly not helping matters at all.
No, the dry conditions, the windy conditions, and we had a front head our way, which at first you might think, hey, a front, won't that give us rain? No, that's because all the moisture that might have been ahead of this front was pulled away with Lee. This is the leftovers of Lee this morning. Watch as Lee moves away, the front moves through, and those gusty winds continue to blow in today. Not nearly as strong as yesterday, and because of brighter skies, we did see the temperatures get into the mid-90s for afternoon highs, but unfortunately, these dry air will be with us for most of the rest of the week, and there isn't another chance of rain on the map until maybe another week from today. One benefit is we will wake up to fall-like temperatures in the morning. That's right, when you head out the door, it's not a misprint. You're going to wake up to temperatures in the 50s, 60 degrees here in town, 70 along the coast. And tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be well below normal. There may be a couple of places that barely get to 90 degrees, but most of the day we'll spend in the upper 80s. So beautiful weather as you head back to work and school. A lot of folks, or a few folks really, still enjoying the last bits of the unofficial end of summer on this Labor Day. 90 degrees down on Galveston Island. Strange thing, all weekend they've had north wind pushing the sand at times back out into the Gulf of Mexico. Up at Bush Intercontinental Airport, it's 91. There have been wind gusts this afternoon as high as 32 miles an hour, but look at the bone dry humidity, only 16%. So the forecast shows temperatures heading into the upper 70s. You'll actually be able to turn off the AC tonight, maybe even open your windows. Those winds will also die down. First thing in the morning, 60 degrees, but as I showed you, cooler for some of our suburbs, in the 50s in some cases, and a lot less windy. That should help a little bit with that fire. 89 degrees for an afternoon high, warm but dry, and the taste of fall. So won't that be nice? The Norman number, well, I almost made it a 10, but since we desperately need some rain, I backed it off down to a 9. Don't forget you can follow the Norman number on Twitter.com, and the 7-day forecast shows no chance of rain right through the end of the week. Texans game will be nice and warm. They'll probably keep the roof closed though, because it'll be toasty warmer, probably around 90 degrees at kickoff. We desperately could use some rain. No rain in the forecast for a while, and the winds, at least tomorrow, will die down.
All right, thank you, Gene.
All right, and we'll be back in a moment with another update from the Grimes Montgomery County wildfires. Taking you back out to Grimes, Montgomery County at the county line, 150 acres on fire. You're looking at live pictures from Air 11. Mandatory evacuations underway in at least one subdivision. Some 60 homes affected there. And we'll get another update from the ground in just a moment.
Yeah, it feels like all of Texas is on fire. We want to update you from Bastrop right now, where those wildfires are burning miles and miles of land and homes.
KHOU-11 News reporter Tiffany Craig joins us once again. Tiffany.
Yeah, take a look at the Austin paper that I picked up this morning. The headline, most catastrophic day. This pretty much sums it up for the people here in Bastrop. Take a look at some of this video that we got earlier today. It is unbelievable, and those firefighters are working round the clock. 25,000 acres already burned. It is 16 miles long, and they believe that it could get worse because of these conditions. We are live in Bastrop. Tiffany Craig, KHOU 11 News.
Tiffany, thank you. Now let's go back to Grimes County. Alex Sands is reporting via Skype. Alex.
Well, and still a very fast-moving situation here. At last check, more than 60 homes evacuated here in Grimes County, just off of 1774 south of Todd Mission. This fire now burning more than 150 acres, and it is moving fast. The wind still clocking some 20-25 miles an hour, and the big challenge continues to be the lack of support from the air. No way to dump water on this fire, which is now burning, going on close to 3 or 4 hours now. Going to be a very long night for firefighters, very long night for people who live here, just wondering, will they have homes to come back to tomorrow?
All right, Alex, thank you very much. I know you'll be working on this story throughout the night for us. And again, this is an area that is no stranger to these wildfires. Back in June, some 5,000 plus acres. And back then, I believe it was a barbecue grill that had triggered this fire.
And still trying to figure out what exactly caused this fire in Grimes County, but given the conditions, could have been anything. Around the clock updates at KHOU.com. We'll have the very latest coming up at 10 o'clock. Have a good evening.